wrapped up into one. But we often forget about the incarnation, the humanity of Christ. What does that mean? Many years ago, back in the 70s, there was a theologian by the name of Jürgen Moltmann who kind of pioneered this type of thought on the humanity of Christ, and his work has really helped us quite a bit. But he wrote a book called The Crucified God, and people had never thought about a suffering God, about a God who suffers. Well, Christ comes to be just like you and me. My theology professor called him the contradiction to the contradiction. The first contradiction is this: God is not immortal. God is not a human. But Jesus becomes human. He becomes one of us, so he is a contradiction to that. The second thing about a God is that you can't kill God because they're immortal. But what happens? God becomes man in Jesus Christ, and what do? They kill him. Now, he is resurrected. But let's kind of take a look at the suffering of Christ. And at this time, with all the suffering that's going on, it is nice to know that we have a God who understands our very weaknesses and what it is to go through what we're even going through. And this is from the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, starting at verse 17. Therefore, he had to be made like his brothers in every respect, so that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in the service of God, to make propitiation for the sins of the people. For because he himself has suffered when tempted, he is able to help those who are being tempted. Now, this is not talking about temptation of sin. He has been tempted just as we are in those things. But understanding what it's like to be like us, the depression, understanding the loss. We have had a great loss in our nation of lives through this pandemic, people being hospitalized. We have had many folks, millions as a matter of fact, who have lost jobs. Many people's savings have been wiped out. A lot of businesses are going under. This is a time that we wonder, where is God in all this? Well, he's with us. And his name is Jesus, the incarnation, Emmanuel, God with us. He understands all these things. He understands poverty. He understands hurt. He understands pain. He understands even the depression and anxiety that comes upon people. He is a God that goes with us through our suffering. This is why it was important for Jesus to come and be a human being and be just like us. So when you wonder about all the suffering that's going on, know that God is right there with you. Maybe you're hurting. Maybe you're going through something. Well, Jesus is going through it with you, and he understands it. And he is sympathetic to our suffering. He is sympathetic to our needs. He is sympathetic to our weaknesses, because he too, he is all God, but yes, he's all man too. And he's just like us. I pray today that you will rest upon Jesus, taking everything and placing upon him. And all your weakness and all your troubles, place your cares upon him, as he says. Many blessings in the Lord. Grace be with you this day and always. Amen.